when we were considering getting this machine, there weren't any reviews that showed it actually in operation from start to finish in real time. So that's what I wanted to do with this, because a downside to a machine like this is that it does take some time to warm up from when you start it, which I just started it now. And it's not as fast as some of the more expensive like a Jura or other brands of machines. So I wanted to demonstrate two of the most common reasons why somebody would buy this machine, so you could see how long this startup cycle is and how it actually works. While it's starting up here, the lights kind of go in a sequence as it's checking everything, and the main thing that's happening right now is it's heating up. And it's going to flush. Whoops, I should put the glass too early, because it flushes the machine a little bit too to make sure there's no residue that accumulated. It also does that when you shut the machine off. It doesn't do a whole lot of water, but just enough to flush the units. I put some milk in this because the first drink that I want to show you was a cappuccino. So that was like less than 1 minute there, that warm-up cycle. And then when you're doing any of the drinks that use milk, you have to make sure it's under both spouts. So I'm just going to do a cappuccino, all you do is you make sure you have beans up in the hopper, which, you know, I didn't have to do here because a good amount of beans fits up there. You have to make sure there's water in the side, and I'll show you real quick how you do that. You just pull that out, and then that's the water tank. And as you can see, it's pretty much full. And then it has a filter in there that gets some of the minerals out of the water. If the water tank's out, that error light will come on. You just saw it. If it thinks that the grinds are full, that light will come on. And if you don't have anything assembled correctly, then this bottom light will come on. The grind light comes on sometimes on mine, even when it's not empty, because if you empty it when like it's turned off, it doesn't realize you emptied it, and it's doing it by a count. So that light comes on more frequently than you might otherwise need to. So now that, so I should have done that talking while it was warming up. But anyway, all you have to do once it's on and all these lights are going is you just hit the drink you want. Cappuccino, I like a lot of beans. So the first one is the strength of the coffee in terms of the amount of beans it puts in. The next is the amount of water in terms of how much liquid it puts in. And then if you're making a milk-based drink, you can set how much foam it does and how much milk there is. And then you just hit start. And it's got these gauges so you can see how much roughly. I put a little bit too much milk in for a cappuccino, so it'll be left over. The main drink that I use this for is Americano, which is it's basically coffee. It's espresso with water. So in addition to being time consuming as far as the downside of this machine, you could also say that it's a little bit loud. If you had other people sleeping in a smaller apartment or something, that might be an issue. And now it's going to grind and add the espresso to the drink. I'm going to go ahead and pop the milk off, drink that last little bit. And it's done. To clean this, you just pop it apart. Give it a good rinse. I mean, ideally I'd use some soap and water, but it's skim milk, so there's no real fat in there. And it's all done and ready for the next drink. And my main drink that I make is the Americano. And you can do either a double or a single. I will just do a single now because the battery is about to die on the camera. Some of the other reviews I've seen of this machine, the espresso comes out really watery on theirs, and I hope you can see on mine, that's why I used clear glasses, that this espresso is nice and dark like it should be. I'm going to pull it out real quick. Hopefully you can see that. I'll get it back under there in time for it to put the hot water in for the Americano. I think maybe the very first time I ran it, it made that kind of lighter, like it almost like it didn't put enough grinds in the espresso, but every other time I've used it since the very first time, it's done nice dark espresso just like you'd expect, and now it's putting the hot water in. If you just order hot water out of it, like if you're just trying to make some hot water, which is something the machine can do, it will actually come out of this. You can, no milk in there, it'll just come out of the steamed water side, but for hot water for an Americano, it comes out of this. A nice thing about this machine is it doesn't really require any maintenance. Behind the water tank that I showed you before is a brew unit. It's like a plastic brew unit. So you can see how dark that is. It's perfect Americano. And you can adjust how much water it puts in there. So anyway, the brew unit can pull out. I don't think I have enough battery life to show you now, but it's just an assembly. You rinse it out. Completely dry it. You're supposed to do that once a week. As far as other maintenance, they give you some food grade lubricant that you're supposed to put on the brew unit once a month or every 500 cups. And then in addition to the beans that go in here, this is the spot where you can put ground coffee in, and then you just change the setting on here from being a different strength to being from this compartment. And the reason why I brought that up when I was talking about cleaning it is that's where they have a tablet that you're supposed to run in there once a month in basically a cleaner mode. But it's a very low maintenance machine. A lot of machines, I don't usually drink milk-based beverages, but I got this because on the rare occasion that I do want a milk-based beverage, the system is super easy. There's no tubes that run through the machine or anything like that. We used to have a Jura, and it used, for the 1 out of 10 cups of beverage that we would make that was milk-based, it would use all these tablets and all these cleaning procedures in order to get that milk out of the tubes and inside of the machine, where this one, only hot water, steam, come through this, and this is the only part of the machine that have to be cleaned. Since I do seem to have some battery life on this, I will try to show you how actually, you know what? I need to show you the shut off. So once it's done, if you forget, there's actually a timer you can set. I've got it set for 15 minutes. I think the default was 30. But if you leave it sitting here and don't shut it off, it will shut itself off. And you can actually set that. That's another thing. This machine is very customizable. In addition to the settings you can do here when you're choosing your beverage that I showed you, it will also you can set all the defaults for how much fluid you have for each type of beverage, and so now it's shut off. So hopefully that showed you how this machine operates. And again, this is an Americano, not an espresso, but you can see it's nice and dark. That's just regular roast beans. It's not dark roast beans or anything. So if you happen to see the same video that I did, where they just made an espresso in a clear glass, and it came out looking like dishwater, and everybody in the comments said that, and I was a little bit nervous about getting this machine because of that, but that problem does not exist. Everything comes out the way that, in my opinion, it should. So if you have any comments, let me know in the comments section, or questions, and I will address them, and if I miss something, I'll do a follow-on video. I'm not going to bother showing the brew unit because that's another thing. Philips has videos on how to do all that maintenance, and the instruction manual is also really clear. So depending on which type of learner you are or which you prefer, you can watch videos for how to do those 3 maintenance tasks. And again, it's only those 3 tasks. You just have to rinse the brew unit once a week, lubricate it once a month, do the tab once a month, which they don't include any tabs. They do include the lubricant. I haven't bought the tabs yet because I've had this for less than a month, but that's it. Like, oh, and the other thing is the water filter. The light's blue. Well, I've shut the machine off, so it's gone, but a second ago the light was blue, and that indicated it's fine. I can't remember. I think it depends on how hard your water is how often you have to change the filter in there. And when you first get the machine, they give you a tab to see how hard your water is. My water here in central New Jersey is very hard. It was 4 out of 4 blocks on the little sensor they included. You set that in the machine, and then after that it just counts how much water goes in it. It's not actually testing the filter or anything like that. It's just determining how much water you've used based on your hardness as to when you have to change that. So those are the only 3 maintenance items you'd have to buy. The lubricant that they include some of, the tab that goes in here once a month, and the filter that goes in the water tank. I'll pull that out so you can see it again. That water filter in there. So that is all I've got for you. And since I'm kind of rushing here at the end because I don't know how long this battery's going to go, but this is all you have to do to empty that, and then you can see, well, they've broken because when it drops them in there, it drops those pucks. But you can see there's nicely formed pucks in there. And that's, in my opinion, a good sign of a well-functioning espresso machine, is when you can see the nicely formed espresso pucks. So take care.